He said, "You hide pain well. Behind smiles, you carry old wounds. In silence, you forgive. But remember, in quiet, you give your heart cautiously now, because trust broke before. You stand firm but sometimes shaken by memories that linger. You want to heal, to love, to be fully known, without fear, without judgment. You seek peace inside, though chaos follows close. You keep fighting still, with gentle strength inside. You inspire. Without words, you lead. Without noise, you love. Without conditions, you live with hope, even when darkness falls. My friend said all this truth to remind you are more than your struggles, more than your past. You are light breaking through clouds, a soul still shining, still rising. Time reveals hidden truths. Wounds heal, scars fade, lessons stay, strength grows. You learn to trust, to open, to hope, to love. Again, you find peace slowly, in patience, in prayer, in faith, in self. My friend sees all, knows all, but loves more than words say. You are not perfect, but real, not flawless, but brave. You carry a heart that tries, that cares, that fights quietly always, and that is enough. Storms pass, skies clear, new light, warm soul. You breathe deeply now, release fear, embrace hope, open heart, welcomes love. Softly, slowly, healing begins. Walls fall, barriers crumble, trust rebuilds, connections grow. You walk forward strong, with courage, with grace, with faith. My friend watches quietly, proud silently, believing always that you are worthy of love, of peace, of happiness, of home. Not because you're perfect, but because your you dreams bloom, hearts mend, paths cross, futures join. Together stronger, together wiser, together hopeful, together whole. You learn to listen, to forgive, to share, to hold, to cherish, to build, to grow, with patience, with kindness, with trust. My friend believes in your journey, your healing, your love, your life. And so do I. Seasons change, time flows, memories soften, pain fades, love remains, deep rooted in hearts, in souls, in moments shared gently, without hurry, without pressure, with honesty, with courage, with faith. You stand ready now to embrace new beginnings, new hopes, new love. My friend says quietly, you are a story, still unfolding, still shining, still becoming. You heal, you grow, you rise, you shine, you love, you learn, you live, you dream, you hope, You trust, you fight, you mend, you smile, you cry, you pause, you breathe, you listen, you speak, you wait, you move, you change, you stay, you fight, you fall, you stand, you walk, you run, you rest, you try, you fail, you win, you learn, you love, you live, you heal, you wait, you watch, you wonder, you question, you seek, you find, you lose, you keep, you cherish, you fear, you trust, you doubt, you hope, you dream, you pray, you fight, you fall, you rise, you heal, you grow, you love, you live, you learn, you shine, you breathe, you smile, you cry, you rest, you stand, you move, you change, you stay, you listen, you speak, you care, you hold, you share, you forgive, you remember, you forget, you begin, you end, you try, you fail, you win, you live,